And it's good to go. So welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Thursday, November 12th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native American news sources. 3 upstate New York associations representing restaurant owners are suing the state liquor board, claiming it illegally granted alcohol catering permits to the Indian-owned Turning Stone Resort and Casino. They're asking a judge to stop the state liquor authority from issuing any more permits because the casino doesn't meet the legal definition of a club. The authority has denied a liquor license to the Oneida Indian Nation Resort, but it has issued temporary permits for Beach's Restaurant of Rome to serve alcohol at its members-only nightclub. The suit also names Beach's. It was filed this Tuesday by the Restaurant Association Madison, Oneida, and Herkimer counties. The Oneidas dismissed the suit as frivolous. The Montana Department of Corrections says it's seeking American Indian applicants for 5 probation and parole positions specializing in supervision of Indian offenders. The effort stems from a $925,000 federal grant meant to help an offender population often plagued by mental health problems and addictions. The Corrections Department said this week that Indian offenders have a return rate of 30% or higher higher than non-Indian offenders in Montana. The department wants to reduce those rates by offering Indian offenders the chance to work with officers familiar with Native issues. A judge is barring the North Dakota Board of Higher Education from doing away with the University of North Dakota's Fighting Sioux nickname until after December 9th hearing. The order from Judge Michael Sturdivant is in response to a lawsuit filed by nickname supporters from the Spirit Lake Indian Reservation. The group said the board would be ignoring the rights of the Sioux people if it retires the nickname at its meeting that's coming up next week. As part of a legal settlement with the NCAA, the state board agreed to drop the nickname and Indian Head logo unless it gets an agreement from the Standing Rock and Spirit Lake Sioux tribes to keep using them. The Chancellor of the State University System, William Goetz, has asked Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Chairman Charles Murphy to meet with him before the board's meeting coming up on November 19th. Call her the other Sarah Palin from Alaska. Like former Governor Sarah Palin, Sarah James of tiny Arctic Village is outspoken about oil and gas development in Alaska. But what Palin calls drilling as an answer to the nation's energy needs, James calls it an affront. An elder of the Gwich'in Nation, James won the Goldman Environmental Prize for extraordinary grassroots leadership on environmental issues. She and other Alaska natives were in Washington this week to lobby against drilling in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge and on offshore sites around Alaska. James said drilling for oil threatens the birthplace of the porcupine caribou, a sacred figure to the Gwich'in people. Her village of about 150 people is among the first to be experiencing the devastation of global warming. James said calling climate change a human rights issue. James and 5 other activists, including 2 from Canada, were in Washington, D.C. on a trip organized by the Alaska Wilderness League. The group met with several high-ranking officials from the Obama administration, including Assistant Interior Secretary Tom Strickland and Larry Echohawk, head of the Bureau of Indian Affairs, as well as members of the Alaska delegation and a staffer for the Senate Indian Affairs Committee. The New Hampshire Intertribal Native American Council is raising money to build a Native American Veterans Monument at the New Hampshire Veterans Cemetery. More than 200 people attended a fundraiser recently in Laconia, New Hampshire. Organizer Pete Newell said that the goal is to honor all Native American veterans from both the United States and Canada who have served. He says Maine and Massachusetts have similar memorials already. Actor and Vietnam veteran Wes Studi is traveling to Fort Riley, Kansas later this month to be a keynote speaker at the Army Post American Indian Heritage Observance. Studi is known for his role in Dances with Wolves and The Last of the Mohicans. He is scheduled to speak November 19th. The theme for the Fort Riley observance is Understanding Native American Heritage Now and Then. The Haskell Intertribal Cultural Club from Haskell Indian Nations University in Lawrence, Kansas will perform during the event as well. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank all of you for joining with us again. Come back again soon. Miigwech.